Hello and welcome to another episode of ComicBreakers, where we break down all things comic booky. I am your first host, a director, a writer, and a musician, Nolan Vinoy.
I'm host part 2, a director, a writer, editor, a man about town, Brian Stork.
And we have Zack Snyder's host 3.
Hello, I'm Karen. I am a costume designer and technician, and I do cosplay stuff.
Heck yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to get through some news, and then we're going to talk this week's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 4. The whole world is watching. Quite an intense episode.
Yeah, I would say so.
So here's how we're going to do the news. I'm going to just hit you with some headlines, and you stop me.
You're going to hit us in the head, and we'll stop you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
All right. First up, report Sinestro to appear in HBO Max's Green Lantern.
Okay, another person has been thrown into the basement.
Yep.
The Green Lantern basement.
Here's my opinion. If it was going to happen, obviously Sinestro would be involved in some form or fashion. However, it's not going to happen.
But imagine you're wrong.
Right.
Imagine someday we look upon a shining sea of green, and
a bunch of lanterns.
And a bunch of lanterns, and it's beautiful, and won't you look like a fool?
I'll look like a big old dummy.
Yeah.
Who'd you cast?
Sinestro?
Yeah.
I mean, I cast the guy who already played Sinestro.
I was going to say, you literally you shouldn't cast anyone other than Mark Strong, because he was perfect and he was sadly wasted.
I would say, I don't know. I don't know what you need like a very posh Britishman who can also sword fight and stuff.
Right. That's why Mark Strong was perfect.
Just do Mark Strong again. No one would be mad about it.
Okay, another one. Rumor: The Mandalorian's Din Djarin may cameo in the Book of Boba Fett.
I would assume, yeah.
Obviously, I would assume he probably has more than a cameo, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, they seem pretty interconnected, if you had to ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Oh, boy.
Could you do this one in the voice of like a 1920s newspaper boy who's trying to get the attention of passersby?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Judas and the Black Messiah cinematographer Sean Bobbitt joins Captain Marvel 2.
I didn't especially care about that. Sounds cool, but
He's a great cinematographer.
I know,
yeah.
I'm sure, but I love that you said his name in that voice. That was the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Sean Bobbitt, great news.
Sean Bobbitt.
Sean Bobbitt. Here's the thing. Pretty much Falcon and the Winter Soldier definitely looks different, but like most MCU stuff looks pretty much the same.
Yeah, I think there's outliers. I think Guardians and yeah,
looks a little different. So it's not. I don't really feel like it's gonna have that much of an impact on the way that the film looks. But it's cool that Sean Bobbitt is shooting a Marvel movie.
Karen, what's your favorite like looking Marvel movie? There's like the coolest looking one. And how many hammers are in it?
I really liked Ragnarok.
Yeah. Ragnarok is probably the right answer. I mean, I would put. It's weird because my top 3 are all the same art style, basically. Mm-hmm. Like it's the 2 Guardians movies and then the movie that utilizes that space aesthetic.
I'm gonna hit you with a surprise.
Okay.
That I think is the best looking Marvel movie.
All right.
Age of Ultron.
Interesting.
Go look at some of them frames. Look at some of them
that's
frames.
fair. I'm thinking about the image from Age of Ultron when we're behind that big chair and he's got the shawl on and he's got the hand out.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's got a really interesting color palette. It has a very specific color palette, whereas I feel like most MCU stuff kind of lives in the same color world, other than Guardians. In Guardians 2 especially, there's some stuff in Guardians 2 that look like sort of a
Guardians
Windows
2,
backgrounds.
Guardians 2, I would say any frame that you took out of that would be a dope album cover.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I respect
Not
that.
Guardians 1?
Guardians 1 also, but Guardians 2
Especially.
Exploded it.
Yeah. I look at the movie and I'm kind of like, did you intend for every shot to kind of feel like an album cover?
I think 100% yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Okay. The big piece of news is obviously the new Loki trailer. So let's talk about the new Loki trailer.
That it looks so cool.
It slaps.
Pretty cool, yeah.
It looks really cool. It looks exactly like what a Loki TV show should be.
Okay, wait. Can we each just say our favorite part of this trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite part of this trailer is I think the moment. Oh God, it's hard though. There are a lot of images that are beautiful in this, but for dialogue exchanges, I think it's the part where they ask him to sign off that this is everything he's ever said, and then he's like, "This is ridiculous," and then it prints out a new page. I think that's great.
For me, I think it is the only man that they could get that would annoy Loki was Owen Wilson.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, like the exchange where he says, "Big metaphor guy, I love it. Makes you sound really smart."
That is great because that is the thought that I had when that line was spoken. I was like, "Oh God, it's gonna be another
metaphor Loki
Zemo situation where he just says something that sounds vaguely intelligent, and
but
then
it really isn't. Yeah.
Owen Wilson's just like, haha.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in it. I like they're talking about the Loki variant. So he's not
Loki
he's
variant,
not
'cause he's
like
not.
Prime Loki is dead.
Yeah.
But this
You would
Loki
think that the
variant.
plural would be loci.
You would.
I also, when I heard him say a low-key perspective, was I supposed to hear
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, that was there. Brian, come on. There was no way.
I know, it's
There was no way.
it's very good.
I would say my favorite part of the trailer, definitely Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
I am a big Cars fan. I think that
Kerchow.
although this
That's my favorite part of the trailer is when he says Kerchow.
Yeah, he does say that.
this role for him is still going to be pretty hard to beat Cars, but I'm very excited, and I hope he says wow at some point.
Scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think this is to approach Cars?
10.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think so too. His character's name is Michael M. Mobius.
Is his first name literally
Or wait, it actually might be Mobius M. Mobius.
Michael M. Mobius?
Yeah.
That's...
Or Mobius M. Mobius. I'm not sure.
Mobius M. Mobius? So his full name is Mobius.
Yes.
His initials are
Mobius.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting about that. Remember when Tony Stark figures out time travel?
Yeah.
He says, "Give me a Mobius strip and invert it." He says that's a line that he says.
We're going to invert Mobius?
Yeah.
We're going to invert Owen Wilson.
But he's a member of the time.
Chow Kerr.
Chow Kerr. You had to think about that, didn't you?
I nearly fell apart mentally while trying to construct that word.
Well, he's a member of the time variance. I don't think that's a coincidence that his name is Mobius M. Mobius.
Yeah,
and,
no, that because it just circles on itself. That's
Right.
I like that.
Other piece of news is that the Batman, Matt Reeves, the Batman with Robert Bat,
Classic.
is taking place in Marvel's Earth 2.
Marvel's Earth 2?
Marvel's-
That's very exciting.
Marvel's Earth 2. DC's Earth 2.
Okay. Can I just go off about this for a second?
Yeah.
Because
Can I get a rant?
okay. So look, I don't expect the DC stuff to be related to any of the other DC stuff right now because
Right.
everything is a different thing. Everything is its own thing. That's what they're trying to do. They tried the shared universe thing and they just ended up with a bunch of silvery boxes. So
Right.
they're trying something new. And I respect that. But if you're going to say that this movie takes place in a specific alternate Earth, you already have 2 live action Earth 2s.
Right, yeah.
There's so many Earth 2s in live action right now.
Right.
Just pick a different number.
Right. It's literally just a number, and it shouldn't be that hard.
Any number would have been fine.
Yeah, but Earth 2 was the only one that was incorrect.
Is this the universe where Stargirl is hanging out? Is that what this universe
That's
is?
exactly
Matt
what
Reeves?
this- yep.
Matt Reeves! Do a quick Google, sir.
I don't think it would have been Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves!
I think it was probably whoever's in charge of DC Films.
But
right
I
now.
blame Matt Reeves.
Okay.
Because I choose to.
Well, I'm gonna call up Matt Reeves and see how he
Call
feels
up your
about it.
good friend Matt Reeves
I'm sure
and
he's
tell
listening
him.
right now.
I mean, I know he is. He's a big friend of the show, and we
Yeah.
love it. But he can never come back
Friend of the show, Matt
because
Reeves.
he's failed us.
Yep, he failed us
Matt
again.
Reeves.
Again.
Once again, Matt Reeves.
Your tone is shaking him right now.
I'm shaking.
With anger.
Yeah.
With rage.
With disappointment.
It's
Matt
any other number.
Reeves.
It's like what. It's a real microcosm of Warner Brothers' misunderstanding of how to do DC properties by the
Yeah.
fact that they have multiple Earth 2s.
You just It's so easy. There's so many numbers. In fact, I would wager
There's
an
infinite
number of them.
There's even there's this whole story I know of called Crisis on Infinite Earths.
All of them were Earth 2.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was Earth 1 and then 3 billion Earth 2s.
I know it doesn't matter, but this is the kind of shit that, like, the Spider-Man Homecoming 8 years later thing, where it just needles me just enough to be like, why didn't you just Google it?
Like, it shouldn't have been
It would have
that much
taken
of a...
4 seconds to Google it.
Right.
And, like, I came across it on Instagram randomly, just a list of Earths. To be fair, my Instagram probably a bit different than Matt Reeves's.
True.
But still.
What's the main difference, do you think?
Yeah. Karen, what do you think Matt Reeves' Instagram is like?
I think it's all Owen Wilson.
It's purely Owen Wilson based. Yes. He's just a big fan of. It's just Lightning McQueen.
Chow Kerr.
Chow Kerr, indeed. McQueen's Lightning, which is a much better title than Cars.
Release the Chow Kerr cut.
Release the Chow Kerr cut.
Chow Kerr cut.
Zack Snyder's Chow Kerr.
Yep.
If you say it fast enough, it does sound like it sounds like Joker.
Yes, or Junker, if you will.
The Clown Prince of Cars.
Yes.
Clown car, if you will.
I was right there and I missed it. Fuck.
Let's go ahead.
Earth 2.
Let's go ahead. And
On Earth 2, I got it right.
Which Earth 2?
Both of them.
Earth 2-2 or Earth 2-3 or Earth 2 Prime?
Maybe one of them.
Earth 2?
Maybe one of them is Earth Space 2 and one of them is Earth -2. Because that's a whole fucking thing.
That is.
Don't worry about it. Let's just move on.
Whichever, it's the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which Earth was it? The second one.
The second one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about Falcon Winter Soldier. Fucking no spoilers conversation this week.
This is
it's just
episode
not possible.
4 of Falcon Winter Soldier.
And there's no way you've gotten far enough into this show and are still deciding whether or not you want to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So here's your warning. We're going to go into spoiler talk in 3, 2, 1. Pause the video and get out of here. John Walker kills somebody in front of everybody.
I wish it was clearer that was a full-on decapitation. I choose to believe it is.
It's not, because you see it.
I know.
You do see him.
But I wish it was.
I think in John Walker's heart, it was.
Yeah, he just missed because he sucks.
Yeah. So John Walker, I feel like, gets increasingly complicated in this episode.
Both more complicated and less complicated.
I would say he becomes simplified to his putrid core.
So I find that they humanize him way better in this episode before they take him totally off the deep end.
Yeah, I like the scene where he's talking to Battlestar about whether he'd take the serum, and that's
the scene I'm basically referring to.
I mean that is the humanization scene.
Right. It's better than the carousel. The carousel
of humanization. Yeah. I do think. I think. Do you think we'll learn more about what they did in Afghanistan, or do you think that's just we're meant to kind of infer?
No, I don't.
They did Black Ops shit, and
I think more so probably what it is like they didn't. I don't think they did anything bad necessarily. I think it was like the decisions that they had to make in order to that were for the greater good. Probably were.
It felt to me that these guys were into some like dirty shit, like they were like assassinating civilians and shit. That's what some of that felt like to me.
I didn't get really that at all. I think I got more of a like and like there would have been no like because Battlestar, what he says after is, imagine how many more lives we could have saved had we had the serum. And so I imagine it was like, we can choose to save this amount of lives, but we're going to have to sacrifice this, or we can save less lives, but we're going to have to, And so they had to, do the lesser of two evils. And so that's how I interpreted that.
That's fair. That's probably more on track. I guess I just hate John Walker more.
Right. I definitely don't like John Walker. No, don't worry.
But I do agree that they did a good job of at least making him seem like a character.
Right.
Yeah. Like because there is the bit where he goes after the Dora Milaje kicks the shit out of him, which is a great action sequence. Right. When he goes, they weren't even super soldiers.
Yeah.
Where I'm like,
I felt like that was his equivalent of, I got beat up by a girl.
In a way, yeah, I think it is like that a little bit.
He is like, when it happened, you were like, Karen, you were like, what a baby.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, but I do think that like, that's relatable in the sense of like he just keeps getting his ass kicked.
Right.
Like I could feel him straining like the more he just got beaten up and
Right.
like ignored and like
Yeah.
people were just being like shut the fuck up.
Right.
You
That's
know?
I think here's the thing about John Walker. This is my thesis on John Walker, is that he, at his very core, I do believe wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
However, he's so overtaken by one, his ego and his like fear of not being a good enough Captain America or a good enough person that it causes him to do awful shit. It's like when you're so anxious that you psych yourself out and you complete that, like, is your doom. That's why you fail,
No, I agree with that.
And I don't think he wants to be this amazing Captain America for like the good of others. It's purely just for himself that he wants to see himself as.
I think it's
hero.
a mixture of both. I think there is like the ego thing tied into it, but I do think there's some version of him. It's like
on Earth 2.
On Earth 2, the version of him on Earth 2 does want to maybe make the world a better place.
Well, he even says that like this is the first time that he's felt like a hero, which I think is both. It's
Right.
he's felt like maybe he's doing the right thing for once, but it also feels like I can feel like the hero.
Yeah, it feels good to be a hero. Yeah.
And there's another instance of him doing an acting job when he's like super fucked up, and then that fan comes over.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he does the like, oh hey, yeah, nice to see you, nice to see you.
Which is really, really good.
Yeah. I think they did Battlestar's death in a really interesting way.
They did. I think they show that Battlestar is also flawed, but like was definitely genuinely a good person, and actually I think was a moral center for John in a way to
And
keep him from going completely off the edge.
Especially in this episode, he was acting as a kind of middle ground between Sam and Bucky, and you know,
John. Yeah, for sure. And so it's what I think is interesting in the sense of like, one, he's John's friend, and so the anger over his friend getting murdered right in front of him pushes him over the edge. But also, the second that his friend is now not there is when he fucking kills somebody, you know?
Yeah. Now, I think that this episode does a ton to make the Flag Smashers less terrible.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that there's still kind of an inherent problem to them where I can't stop seeing them as these like incredibly irresponsible terrorists who
For
deserve to be locked up forever.
Right.
Like I don't like, there are moments in this that succeed in making me feel something for them, and they're all when Carly is talking to Sam.
Right.
And her speech at the funeral, I think, worked pretty well. I think it outlines her philosophy a bit better.
It does. My thesis on it right now is that, and if you go watch the Nando V Movies video about this, and
I totally agree with this.
We should probably we'll make a video ourselves about what may have been removed from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I think once we see how this all shakes out.
I think that the show has the ability to lay out their philosophy, but they don't have. What's not there is the tangible Flag Smashers. They want this.
Yeah.
They want to do this. Like, we don't get that. We just get their philosophical want.
Yeah, because we believe that there's supposed to be a pandemic happening right during this show, and that it's been removed. I heard you shudder. No, I think, because I think that it really starts to work once you have Sam and Carly debating philosophy.
Right.
Because then you're like, okay, I see where these two people are coming from, but her actions don't really follow what her philosophy is because the urgency is removed.
Right.
And I think I just love seeing Sam drawing on his like counseling soldiers and being I think they really make him great at that in an incredibly believable way.
Yeah.
Like when he kind of maneuvers her isn't the right phrase, but
In a way, though.
when he gets her to kind of see what she sounds like,
Right.
I don't think I've seen that kind of thing done better.
Yeah, no, it was
because
really
it
good.
usually feels very obvious,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was
But-
hilariously fitting of Walker to dismiss, like, you're a counselor. Like, sir, maybe you need some counseling.
Also, interesting jab at Sam when he was like, yeah, and I've met those soldiers, so I don't believe. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I think he may have more been saying like, I've met the soldiers that have PTSD and like
they're still fucked
they're
up.
still dangerous, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, but he's definitely an anti-therapy individual.
You know what would be really fun is if we get Sam trying to actually kind of talk
John down.
It won't work, but I think that
I feel like it could.
He would try.
Yeah,
I feel like that might be where the climax of this goes.
I think you're right. I think he might convince him to put the shield down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be if he hands the shield to Sam and like just gives up and is like, "Yep, I'm not the guy for this." I think that would be a really bold
I think
way
that
to
is.
finish it.
I think that's I think there's a lot of conceivable outcomes for where John Walker goes from here, and I think that's one of them. Karen, what do you think about the Flag Smashers?
I think there are a lot of moments, especially the ones where they're attacking Walker, where I'm just like, yes, do your thing.
Hit the man, do it.
Hit the boy.
But
he's a bad boy.
Maybe it's just that like it feels very vague.
Mm-hmm.
Their like purpose. It's hard to, for me at least, to feel like are they justified or are they vilified? I don't know.
And then I think it's hard to tell because there's some times when they're doing it on purpose in this episode with having the Flag Smashers being the ones who kill Battlestar and clearly, you know, being irresponsible, but we don't have enough buildup of like feeling like we connect with them, so it feels like kill these guys.
And if they were to have like an active purpose, like they are trying to get vaccines to underserved communities for a pandemic, like was definitely happening.
And I mean, we can talk about this further once the whole thing's wrapped up, but I get why they would have taken it out because there probably would have been some nefarious purpose to the pandemic, which gets us into QAnon conspiracy territory.
Which we don't
want to do that.
There,
But yeah, it is a shame.
Release the COVID cut.
Don't do that.
Does that imply that COVID himself made it?
Yeah, COVID was the director.
Himself.
Yeah.
Corona M virus.
Corona M Corona. Corona C Corona. I loved all the Wakanda stuff in this. I loved the flashback.
It's awesome.
The
that opening
flashback.
scene. It's brutal, but it's so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And just the Wakanda drums.
The Wakanda drums are great, but
could have just been Wakanda drums and then cut to the rest of the episode.
I think it's like the most emotionally effective. It's the most emotionally effective scene in this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Well, other than John Walker murder, but that's a different kind of emotional.
Yeah, it's a different kind of emotionally
affection.
Effective,
It's probably the best Bucky scene.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think about it in terms of like filming it and like without like all the dramatic music. It's just like the actor for Bucky's just like, now she's gonna be saying some random words and you just sit there and cry.
Someone's just like, boxcar, and he's like no, I think this is a great Bucky scene. It's a great use of footage from past stuff. It's probably a better use of footage from past stuff than in WandaVision, where in the previously they just include the shot of Quicksilver's bullet riddled body falling to the ground.
So I think there's a couple ways that this Walker thing can go. And I think it all plays on the multiple facets of his character that we've been talking about here. One where it plays on his core that he wants to do good, and the other on his ego and his desire to be Captain America, to be a quote unquote hero. So I feel like there's a couple of ways out of that. If you're gonna continue the story in, he's a person that. Does he come out of? Does he open?
You're just standing next to a wall full of red wire.
Does he open the next episode and he's like, "Ooh, oops," like that's not. Does he retract or does he double down?
I think. Oh God, what would be awful is if he opened the next episode on Good Morning America again, like, well, listen, here's
my God.
It's like hucking a football and stuff. I think at first he kind of has to double down.
Yeah.
I think he I don't think he's going to feel good about this, but I think it's going to be more he feels worse that he was seen doing this than that he actually did it. I think he hates these people, and I think he wants to kill all of them.
Yeah. I think he hates them through the lens of
they're not letting me Captain America good enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he necessarily hates them for what they stand for.
No, he couldn't give a shit what they stand for.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think he's even really thinking about that necessarily.
Yeah. There are a lot of instances that I like where they highlight how John Walker can't do things that Captain America should be able to do. I like that it increases every episode, and it's also not always something that's like a step in him feeling worse. They'll just include it to cue you that like this guy's really not right for it, even though he doesn't realize it. Like in the last episode when he doesn't speak German. And I there's a lot in this one that are more slamming him to the ground physically and metaphorically. Also, didn't know I needed to see a Dora Milaje holding the cap shield.
It was pretty
I
cool.
wanted them to take it so bad.
It's good.
Cool.
They just leave with it.
I mean,
it is
vibranium.
That one guy wouldn't
so.
have died if they had taken the shields off.
That's true. Karen and I were doing a bingo game with this episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier bingo, and we were so close with John Walker kills Battlestar.
Yeah.
But we just missed it by that much indirectly.
So let's talk about Battlestar for a minute.
Yeah.
I really like the character. There are things that I think you can kind of make fun of the character for. We joked about it in the very first episode of like, gosh, well, Battlestar's like useless. The second episode, he's just useless. Like
he is never not getting choked.
Right.
He's
constantly getting choked. I wonder. It makes me wonder that if having to remove a pandemic storyline that they had to get rid of
His personality.
Oh, something cool he did.
Some like cool stuff that he did.
Yeah.
Which I honestly doubt that.
I don't necessarily, because this is very conspicuous. That he never lands a punch on anyone.
He gets one kick in the second, and then he just gets choked repeatedly, thrown off. He gets thrown off of an 18-wheeler truck.
Yeah.
He gets kind of kidnapped and
choked
then tied
again.
up.
You skipped the second choking.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I do think it's telling that his death comes as Carly's about to kill John Walker because she has a knife and she's running at him.
Yeah.
And he runs and tackles her out of the way. And when she punches him, like he dies saving John's life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that tells you a lot about him. He's obviously still flawed because he says he would take the super soldier serum away.
I get, not understanding really what the serum is. You know? And being like, yeah, you mean if I could have superpowers, would I?
Right.
Yeah, that's what that feels like.
Like it's he wasn't thinking about the moral implications of that or what it'll do to your kind of.
Well, I mean, John asked him, and
John does bring that up.
And then he just says he makes it makes what's already like just makes you more of yourself, and I think he just maybe misunderstands John.
Yeah.
I think
for sure.
I think he believes in John more than John necessarily deserves.
It's like if Bucky believed in the wrong guy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And
that's a great way to say it.
And that's why it's so sad that this is kind of what happens to him.
Yeah. Then he died for that guy.
Also, I think that's I really think like I don't think Carly's gonna make it to the end of this show.
I don't think so either. I thought like I was starting to think. I think you had maybe mentioned it at some point that it was gonna get to the end and like the way to show the difference between Sam and John was like Sam was gonna try to talk Carly down and then John just executes her.
Yeah, that was my thought, and I mean that did basically happen in this episode. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna keep getting worse.
Yeah.
But could you have both Carly and because she's not gonna go free because she's a terrorist.
Right.
But could you have both her and John end up getting arrested?
Yeah. I think so.
I guess you could.
I think he definitely gets arrested at the end of this. Do you think the U.S. government backs him after this?
I think after this first thing, the execution.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But I think
to an extent.
Yeah.
Because it would seem so much. It's so directly like America coming over here and just killing people,
cutting a dude's head off,
cutting someone's head off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's because it's America's mascot, like they said. I don't know. It's very like, I feel like they would take it personally. Mm-hmm. Like the big Captain American fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though, you know what? I think it might have the opposite. Well, I guess I'm thinking too real worldy. Because I think in the real world, if that footage existed, there would be a ton of people in America who would be like, hell yeah. Which is
It's true.
Pretty not great about the country in which we live. Right. But I think maybe in the context of the show, there will be some hefty amount of backlash to this. Yeah. Well, I mean, we know there will be because they wouldn't highlight the phones, but like, I don't know if he's gonna get fired for this.
Yeah, here's my thought. I think you said something in after the first episode about how is John Walker gonna lose the shield, and it had like you felt like it had to be public, and it's gonna be like a public brawl between Bucky, Sam, and John, and my feeling is that is gonna happen at the top of this coming episode. And John's gonna have to leave without the shield, having lost it in a fight. And I think he'll go back to the U.S. government, and they're gonna support him, but they're gonna take him away as like a focal point, as like a point of advertising,
right?
And make him more stealthy, make him U.S. agent.
But who gets to pick up the shield in his place?
I think Sam and Bucky will have it. And I think he goes back to Louisiana.
Oh, are they just going to take it from him?
I think they're just going to take it, yeah.
You know what? They are right there. I think this episode could very well start with Sam rushing forward and grabbing the shield from him.
Would he let them?
Well, they'd fight, I think.
I think they're going to fight and they'll kick his ass. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. It. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
I do think the government will continue to back him, though.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that they're just going to see all that footage that's probably going to go viral, and they're going to say, oh, well, we just need to remarket this. We just need to...
Right, yeah.
Give him a black suit. Make him
reformed.
I almost...
Oh, he was such a good person.
I feel like he's going to get a black and red suit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think so. Oh. I think he's going to get a black and red suit. I think they're going to move him to Black Ops. I think they're going to make him full on, like... Because he's a super soldier now. Right. They're not going to throw that away.
Yeah.
True.
I think they'll move him to, like, what his skill set probably actually is. Right. And he'll get worse.
Do you feel like he's going to survive the show?
I hope so. I think so. I still think the same thing that you think. I think it means more if he gets arrested than if he gets killed.
Yeah.
True.
Karen, do you think they'll keep him alive?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What do you think of his suit? Like the star with the A and
I think it looks stupid, and I think it intentionally looks stupid. It looks like
it intentionally looks like
it's like having
as a costume designer.
Yeah.
What do you think?
As a costume designer. Well, they clearly like designed it in a way that would make him look doofy, like his ears stick out, like that the like shaping of it all is very like awkward, and
that's very... like an intentional thing that you can like design the suit to be like make his ears look floppy, make him look like a kid wearing a Halloween costume.
It feels like little American flags on your truck, you know what I mean? Like that's what his suit feels like.
He's the mascot Cap. I think that's a cool way of looking at the suit, is that it's that stupid star with the A inside of it, and like
in the same way that a shield does not a cap make. Yeah. A suit does not a cap make.
A Party City trip
it's an
does
intentionally
not a cap make.
It's designed to be ill-fitting is kind of what it looks like to me.
I almost wish they'd given him the like Party City Halloween costume neck. That's just like open to the elements. Why do they do that? Hey, you know how I went to an Earth 2 ramp before? What the fuck was with costumes all having that weird
bare neck
hole?
It's kind of
Who's asking for? What do you mean it's fun?
I think it's kind of fun.
I used to have to put fucking placemats in there.
I feel like it's kind of fun when you like, you get a. It's always fun when you have less clothing on, I feel like.
Gives you more room to accessorize.
The Batman does not keep his neck open to the breeze, I would say.
I don't know. It depends what season it is.
It depends what universe he's in.
It depends what villain he's fighting.
This is a conversation between Batman and Alfred where he's like, sir, it's the summer. You're going to sweat.
Batman does an explosion here.
But what if you're going to the beach? You have to fight Starro.
He's got a bat surfboard and full plate armor.
Okay, what's some other stuff in this episode? We've been talking about John Walker a lot.
I think we've covered a lot of the big points. I think
we haven't really talked about Sam and Bucky.
they're still good. We haven't. You know, we haven't talked about Zemo.
Zemo.
He's still a lot of fun. I love this weird Turkish delight. So
I love it. Oh my god. Do you know what he feels like? He feels like, what's the guy from Narnia that like sold his family off for some Turkish delight?
Fucking
Edmund, something like that.
Did he sell his soul, Mr. Tumnus? Mr. Tumnus is my friend.
No, Mr. Tumnus was the like satyr type.
But isn't it to get him? I haven't looked at this in a long time.
What I'm saying
No, it's
is
to
he
the
feels
Ice
like
Queen, but
It's Edmund. It's Edmund.
Right,
Yeah,
but something
yeah.
happens to whatever.
Well, Zemo feels like older him, like giving Turkish delight to the children, like reminiscing on his past, and like, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we should do a Narnia cast. Drop this,
Should
do a
we?
Narnia cast. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Beloved universe of Narnia
It is. I mean, it is beloved.
by me. I've never seen the movies.
I mean, you're not missing anything. The books are wonderful, but
Anyway, I think that the way that he approaches those children
is hilariously creepy.
it's the
so
creepiest
weird.
thing I've ever seen. He's like Pennywise. Like he's like coming in, he's like, Baba, bitch.
It's so conspicuous that it's like, is he like putting a spell on them right now? Why are they coming to this man?
Like he looked. You could pull that out of the episode, and it would be like a PSA on like strangers approaching like your
With candy.
children. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like he's doing like look. He's doing all of the. He's doing
doing
all
all
the
the things.
pedophile things.
Yeah, he's doing all of the things.
Why did they set it up
Little
like
did
that?
those cute kids know that man was an international terrorist.
It's a little funny to me, the image
more
of
you
him
know.
like thinking like, this is the language of the children.
And
This
it
is what
works,
makes me
though.
likable.
Yeah, if it was like a 1604.
Yeah.
Like
I do like the idea that they do every step of that as if it's gonna be like a pedophile based PSA, but then it's like
Right.
you never know. He could be an international murderer, killer of King T'Chaka.
oh man.
Oh man,
The Turkish delight thing is funny because like the way that first scene ends is so weird and conspicuous. He's like Turkish delight, and then it just cuts.
Irresistible.
It just cuts away to the Flagsmasters, and then it's like, oh, that's why he was talking about candy.
Yeah.
I guess that's why he was talking about the candy.
I can already see the memes where they're like, what we wanted, and then like it's a picture of Zemo with a sword, and what we got, and it's Zemo with a bag of Turkish delight.
The bag of candy creeping on some kids. He's really fun though. Like they've really like expanded. They really, I mean, it's honestly, it's a totally different character than who's in Civil War, and I'm okay with it because it's more comic accurate, but it gives Daniel Bruhl a lot more room to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
and
just
have
more fun.
us have a lot of fun with him. And there's just so much more I feel like they can do in terms of like comic stories in the future with him.
I don't want any of the villains in this show to die.
Me either.
They're all so interesting. I want them to keep going.
Right.
Carly,
Carly,
yeah.
I don't really care. She's
But-
definitely going to survive this. And
Really?
I just feel like in a real world, from a real world perspective, like they wouldn't have cast Erin Kellyman if they were planning on killing her off.
I think that's a fair point, but here's my Breakers perspective.
Are we in a full?
There's
full
never
Breakers?
been a delineation into the Breakers
There's
portion.
always a
We
delineation,
just
Brian.
say
What are
it
you
at some
talking
point.
about?
We've been hypothesizing this whole time.
Okay, fine. Just go.
But I think that she I think that John Walker, for him to be a functional antagonist for these guys, he can't lose every encounter he ever has.
Yeah.
I think he needs to have a win that makes us be like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a bullseye on Carly, or at least her entire team.
Yeah.
I think if she makes it out, none of the other Flag Smashers are making it out.
Yeah,
I
was
think
just
everyone
thinking-
else is dead.
I agree
for
with
sure,
that.
100%.
For sure.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking that it feels very much like she's watching every single one of her members die. Like it feels like,
Yeah.
and then there were 5, and then there were 4.
Yeah, it's like every episode someone dies.
Yeah.
One of her people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, did someone?
There was the plane guy in
the plane
was
guy
that
in
the first
episode
one?
2.
Oh, that wasn't episode 1.
I think it was episode 2.
In that case, maybe nobody from her side dies in episode 1.
Your theory is gone. Your theory is dead. I've killed your theory.
My theory.
How dare
She really
I?
only lost 2 of her guys?
I think she's only lost. Well, you count Donya Madani.
Okay, that's episode
Mama
3.
Donya. Yeah. So I mean, but I mean,
So 2 super
she's
soldiers.
had a loss.
And
She's had a loss every
and a
single.
a
Yeah.
sickly teacher.
Yes. Yeah.
At least we know what her fucking relationship is to her now.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sam said something that kind of sticks out to me where he's like, it appears to me that she was a pillar to the community. And I'm like, how? How does it appear to you that that is the case? How have you made this?
Because I said the name and everyone ran away from me.
That's true. Well, that was before they even went over there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. John Walker's on the way.
Professor Kali Morgenthau.
Morgenthau.
I'm going to miss that guy when he gets
That
his head
guy's
cut off or
definitely
whatever.
getting killed in the next episode.
But what about Kali Morgenthau?
Morgenthau. Here's the thing. We've said that we feel like it's most interesting if John Walker is kind of our main physical antagonist.
Yeah.
I feel like this power broker stuff is like really just coming to the forefront. And one, I want to know who he is because they're either they're going to reveal somebody new and it's going to be interesting and it'll be cool, or it's somebody we've already met before and it's an adaptation of the character.
I mean, it could only really be Sharon, right? Like,
No,
who
I
else
think-
is there?
I think
Who
well,
we've
I
met
don't-
already.
well,
Like,
not-
if it were someone
we've met already in the MCU, not
Oh,
necessarily in
okay.
the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Red Skull. They've mentioned him once before. He went from being a ghost in space to a guy who runs some crime stuff.
Well, but see, here's the thing: is he had to exist. I think he would have had to have existed.
Oh, back when Zemo
back
was
when
doing
Zemo
stuff.
was
Yeah, that's true.
still doing stuff.
My bulletproof Red Skull.
Yeah, it was
His power
bulletproof. Though. I
broker
will
theory
tell
has
you
been-
that was really good.
has been bulleted just as much as Quicksilver once was.
Some
all those
people
years
have been
ago.
saying Thunderbolt Ross.
Whatever.
I mean, like, if it turns
I don't
out that
see
way,
him
like,
being
I don't
that
see that.
interesting. To be
More like
honest.
Thunderbolt Wrong.
Yo, what's up?
that was
Yo.
sick. That
One
was
more.
so sick, dude.
Hell yeah.
That was so cool.
One more though.
Yeah, can I get one more?
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Some people have said the leader.
What? Can you imagine?
Tim Blake Nelson.
They bring back the Incredible Hulk's teased sort of character, the leader.
Third tier character. Yeah.
Huh.
What do you wait? Quick question. So I'm gonna go out on a limb that you have no idea who the leader is.
No idea.
Okay, guess just in a sentence, just a quick little bio. Who is the leader?
Well, he's got his group that he leads.
Mm-hmm.
And you said he was a Hulk villain?
Yes.
Yes.
So clearly he's the antithesis of the Hulk. So he's this skinny little man.
Brian and I just exchanged a look.
What are 2 other things about him?
And he's so chill. Never angry.
Okay.
So
Okay.
clearly
Got a real
his,
chill
his
vibe.
deal is
Yeah.
mind control.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
what I'm getting.
You know, you're not
You
off on a
basically
couple
just
things.
described the leader,
Yeah.
except he's pretty not chill. But he
Yeah.
he is a mind control leader of people who's very skinny and small. So
I'm
you pretty much nailed
shocked
it.
that I got that.
Imagine
because I
if
have
ins-
zero clue.
Imagine if instead of super strength, the Hulk got super smart.
Except like not smart enough to ever beat the dumbest being on the planet.
Right.
So like somewhere in that area.
Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah. Really smart, but not that smart.
Yeah. The smartest idiot in the world.
So it's definitely not the leader.
No, it will not be the leader.
Next episode.
It's the leader. The thumbnail for this video is gonna have the leader in it.
Cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
I mean, at this point, it's got to be at least like a name actor who's fun. I don't know.
Here's the thing. I saw an interview where it was talking about how they're bringing characters back from Phase 1 that have not been involved.
Okay.
And reinventing them. And so maybe that's where that's coming from.
You could probably run because we've kind of gotten a sense of what the speech pattern of this character is.
Yeah.
Like say something, he'll end you.
Yeah. It's pretty dramatic.
That's not something that most characters that we know would say. It's
Yeah.
a very kind of mob bossy villain thing to say.
Right. Maybe, what if the power broker is not someone we've met, but it is someone that ties into past movies? Mm-hmm. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the guy has a buyer.
Okay.
for the Pym particles, right? Is it Pym particles that he's selling?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yes.
It's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Someone was buying Avengers Tower in Spider-Man Homecoming.
I still hope that's
Baxter Building, or
either Baxter Building or Oscorp. I think it'd be more fun if it was Oscorp.
I agree.
Because Spider-Man and Iron Man and
Well, give the Fantastic Four their own place.
Yeah. Just say they've always had a building. We don't care.
Could also be Zola. That's a possibility. I think
It's just Zola's big machiney tapes, just controlling
I'm down
all
to
crime.
see it.
I could kind of see that a bit, but I don't know. I'm excited about whatever it is. I think that'll be a fun out of nowhere.
Right.
Like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
But overall, I think that this episode, like as my kind of last thing to say about this episode, is my final opinion on it. I think that this is the episode that has renewed my faith in where this series is headed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got a little bit shaky in episode 3.
Yeah.
Some things were feeling like they were not going to survive the adjustments that had to be made.
Right.
And now
I
I
think
we're in a much cleaner spot now.
What happens at the top of next episode? I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
Okay.
I want to hear Karen's thoughts as well.
I think there's 2 options. Actually, no, Karen, you go first.
So clearly, Walker, in self-defense, he cries his white man tears. You weren't there.
No, I don't think anyone on Earth.
You didn't see. We all saw. Literally,
We were all in the
saw.
room. Even to point at Carly. Even she was there.
She was in the room. I was in the room.
I was in the room.
Zemo's like, I was not in the room.
I don't think anyone hates John Walker more than Karen.
I despise him.
No, that's fair.
Every minute that he is on screen, I am revolted.
It's pretty great. There's no moment, even in the moments where it's like they're doing their best to humanize him, Karen is just like fuming, like verbally, like
literally,
like a comic book villain. Where you're just like,
we're sitting on the couch and she's like, piece of shit.
She's like cursing him under her breath.
Fucking baby.
But I think, do you want to talk about like kind of what exactly it is that you most where the pure like despising of John Walker comes from?
Oh boy, that's a lot. I haven't like really thought deep down into my heart about it.
Let your heart speak it.
I think it's probably just that he is the like you get this position of power because you are exactly the type of person that this country is made for, and he's a shitty person. They don't care that he's a shitty person. He doesn't really care if he does shitty things as long as he feels good about himself. Just that he's like he's just like entitled. Like that's just his thing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that he's a symbol of, it's entitlement.
Yeah.
No, I think that's totally.
So what do you think is going to happen at the start of the next episode?
Yeah.
We derailed you.
Yeah, he's gonna freak out. There's no way that he like, because everything about his self-image is going to be destroyed before his eyes. He's like watching everything happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a meltdown. He's gonna have another tantrum.
Yeah, I feel that. I think it's either what we talked about before, where Sam rushes in and is like, "Give me," or even just walks in and goes, "Put the shield."
Put the shield down. Yeah.
And either he does it, there's a brief fight, and he loses it. I think there's a good chance he just does it. I think there's a good chance he just drops it.
I think so. I think that's also a big possibility.
Because I think he's horrible. I think now that the seeing red has passed, now he's going to be horribly depressed for a bit.
Yeah.
Because he did just lose his best friend. So I think it's not just going to be embarrassment and shock at like having his whole world crumble around him.
A lot of bad things happened for him at one time.
Yeah, I think he's not going to have it in him necessarily to fight. But I also my other thought is that we might open up with an unexpected flashback. I think we might not open up on coming right back where we were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that flashback would be.
What if
but
it's
I think
like a John Walker, Lamar Hoskins, Afghanistan
it could
flashback?
It could be learning what happened, or it could be some small thing.
Right.
I don't know. But I think maybe to like when he gets given the job.
Yeah.
And like him reacting to that and then going straight to where we were.
Yeah. Both of those to me feel like how do we turn this, like, how do we get the audience away from pure hatred?
Yeah,
towards this
how do
man
we
at
keep
one-
humanizing this guy,
Yeah,
even
exactly.
when you have no reason
Right,
to
because if
even-
you open this next episode, and it can still work if that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you open this episode and you're just going straight in, he just killed the guy, and now it's Sam, Bucky, and John all in this big town square. Like, the audience, their perspective of him right now is, wow, this guy's awful. We get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
And if you see something before that, I think that.
So my guess is it's him getting the part, and I think you also get him feeling like there's no way I'm the right guy for this, and having Lamar be like, yeah, you are, and then we go into
Right.
turns out Lamar was wrong and he's also dead.
Right, yeah.
I think that's kind of where you want to.
For me, I think if there's a flashback, I think you get an Afghanistan thing, and you see what he had to go through in whatever moment, and then you cut to. But I mean, your idea is also great. I think either of them would work really well. And I think that now that you've said that, I think he will just drop it.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll drop it.
Now I'm thinking about. This is the thing. This is the thing that sucks. This is listen, here, audience. This is what sucks.
Yeah.
Is they make trailers for these damn things.
Oh,
and
is
you
there
see footage. There's a shot that of John Walker like kneeling, and he's got the shield, and you can't really see his face, but I think there's blood on the shield
Oh.
in the shot, and so I wonder if it kind of looks like a superhero landing a little bit, and so I wonder if there's the fight, but
So it could be a superhero landing, or it could be him falling to his knees.
could be that, yeah. But they're not out there. It's in a different location, but it looks like they're
Interesting.
still in Latvia, though.
Okay.
Gosh, I hate. But see, here's the thing. I wish I could just not.
Well,
have
let me help.
head.
Let me help you with that though.
What?
It's possible that there were some different ways that they were cutting
true.
this, were shooting this, were
Right.
adding
Yeah.
little moments to it.
One of those
that
shots they just use in a trailer.
You either just using a trailer or didn't make sense anymore with how they had to restructure stuff.
true. That's
Either one of those could be possible. So.
I think what I would want to see if I was telling the story, which I'm not, to be clear, I'm not. My name is not Kari Skoglund.
You're John Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm John Falcon, the Winter Soldier, also known as Ben Affleck,
Of course.
also known as actor John Slattery.
Of course.
Sorry, that's an inside joke from another podcast that Brian and I go check out. Ghoul School.
Audio poison.
Audio poison. If I was telling the story, to get all the way back to that, what I had just previously said, I think him dropping the shield there and that being the end of it, and he goes back to the U.S. and Sam and Bucky have the shield now. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that just occurred to me is that he clearly spent time contemplating whether or not he should even take the serum. I feel like an element to it is that he's already committed so much to being in this role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no way he can go back to being a normal person.
Right.
Right. He physically can't
He
go back to being
physically
a normal
can't go
person.
back.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That would be an interesting spot, is if he wants to just he doesn't want to be this anymore, but now he's made himself this and he
Right.
has to be this.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think that's necessarily the full way they're gonna go, but I think that's gonna be part of it.
Yeah.
Is that he's locked into this now.
Yeah.
Because he did this to himself.
I saw some people on the internet saying, "What if?" And let's just hypothesize for a minute. Let's
Okay, sure. This will be our last hypothesization.
Let's hypothetically say that this is true. I think it really undercuts this episode emotionally.
Yeah.
But if Lamar wasn't actually dead yet,
It gets to Lamar in the
Oh my
hospital.
God.
That is the worst possible opening to
Yeah.
the next
That's
episode. Is Lamar? It cuts back to Lamar in the room, and he's like, "Oh man, what a rough." No, it actually just it cuts back to the square, and Lamar just trots out like, "Hey guys, how's it going? Did we get her?"
He wakes up in his hospital bed and looks at the TV, and it's just footage of him
yeah.
killing the guy.
No, he's dead. He's dead as fuck.
yeah, no,
he
he
checked
has
his
to be
pulse.
dead. Yeah, he has to be dead.
I mean,
and
he
it-
might
if
suck at that too.
if
it's
he-
true. He might
that's
just not know
true.
how to do it.
That's true. It would, like I said, I think it would completely undercut this entire.
There's no
episode.
good reason to do it.
There's no good reason to do that. There's one thing I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it is. What are you?
When Captain America throws his mighty
shield and decapitates another man.
all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. When he's led to a fight and he cuts off your head, then that's the end of Captain America.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I agree with you that I feel like this episode really gets the show back on track from a sort of rocky. Episode 3 has to exist from an exposition standpoint.
Yeah.
It's just definitely a rocky ride to get all that information out, especially given that this thing was clearly reshot and cut in a very, very extensive manner. I think that this is the episode where the show best explains its thesis. And there's the scene is whatever, but the moment where Carly is talking to the guy that John Walker kills later, and he says that people need a hero that looks like them and represents their struggles, and Sarah on the dock says that I didn't choose him. Why would I be interested in this person's mascot? That's what the show is about. That's why Sam has to be Captain America. So, I think that's interesting that our antagonistic group basically is what stated the
that's
point.
where these flag smashers need to keep heading to work.
And I think that's where they're going. Which brings me great joy that they found a way out.
Though once they start actively doing stuff again, it's gonna probably stop making sense a bit.
Right. But see, I don't know what else. I feel like, to me, the show seems like it's pointed towards John Walker and the Power Broker. And that this flag smasher stuff is maybe not necessarily getting resolved, but like they are the back burner villain now.
They're not going to be as actively smashing flags. Which is difficult to do just from a physical standpoint.
Because it's
flat. It's flat cloth.
Yeah.
Can you smash a flag?
Yeah, you know cloth.
Yeah, you've known a cloth before.
I guess if you stiffened it first.
Okay, see, that's their problem, is that they haven't stiffened it first. And that's why it's felt so weird.
That's why Sam doesn't agree with their methods.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta stiffen the flag first.
Come on, man.
Okay, you're not smashing anything. I could unfurl that right now.
Yeah.
Little iron, it's fine.
Little iron, man.
Let's get out of here.
So, please be sure to give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, hit the little bell, do all the things that all those YouTubers say to do, because it really helps. Please comment. Send us an email at comicbreakersofficial@gmail.com if there's something you want to talk about. Something for us, Brian and I, to pitch at each other.
Oh yeah. Check out the pitching series, the How It Could Be Done series.
How could it be done?
Yeah, we pitch what we do with characters and shows and movies and stuff. It's pretty fun.
It's very fun. Don't take up the shield this week.
Yeah, don't put down the shield.
Put down the shield.
If you're holding a shield right now, just put it down.
Put it down. Good night.
Good night. Sweet dreams.